Welcome to another edition of Coffee Talk with immigration attorney Brian Lerner. In this particular episode, I'd like to talk a bit about motions to reopen. Now, most of the time, many times, when motions to reopen are made, the BIA or the immigration court, they'll just flat out deny it based on the fact that 90 days has passed and uh, it's past the statutory time period, or that there's more than one motion to reopen that's already been made, and therefore another one can't be made, or just based on the discretion, for example, of the BIA, they'll just deny the motion to reopen. But there are actually Supreme Court cases, U.S. Supreme Court cases out there that do not so casually treat motions to reopen as just perfunctory types of motions that can easily be dismissed and denied. Rather, these Supreme Court cases essentially state that the motion to reopen is a very important part of immigration law that should be taken seriously and that should be considered very carefully, and that there is judicial review of denials of motions to reopen, meaning that if, for example, it goes to the immigration court and they deny it, and it goes to the BIA, Board of Immigration Appeals, and they deny it, that's not the end of the road. There is no law that states that a denial of a motion to reopen cannot be brought to the Circuit Court of Appeals. That is a judicial review where, for the first time, it goes in front of real federal judges that were appointed by the President of the United States at that time. And they take all kinds of law, areas of law, not just immigration law, all kinds of federal law, criminal, civil, patent, trademark, tax, and so on. And so sometimes you have to go up there. But if if you've been told, or if you think that once it's done with the administrative processing that there's nowhere to go, then that's not correct. And sometimes the only relief that you have available is to get a motion to reopen heard and approved. And sometimes to do that will necessitate you having to go up a few levels. Keep in mind that the motion to reopen needs to be considered seriously as well. As two different things I'm talking about. One is the ability to go up and get judicial review if it gets denied two times or more, so that you can get federal judges that will be able to rule on this motion to reopen. And secondly, when it's at the immigration court level or at the BIA level, they can't just throw it out because they say it's more than 90 days, or you've already made a motion to reopen, boom, it's gone. There are a lot of reasons to make a good motion to reopen, and some are very, very inherent with getting your day in court. If, for example, you never got notice of the original hearing, if there's been changed circumstances, many times, for example, let's say that an asylum was denied because the 1 year issue had passed and you didn't file it within the 1 year. Well, maybe you had such psychological trauma from the persecution you were suffering that after seeing a psychologist for 3 years, you were finally able to talk about it. And that would be a good basis to do a motion to reopen. Or you have a new qualifying relative that's old enough and that can petition you, or that there was criminal relief that was done and crimes were vacated and are reduced so you're no longer considered an aggravated felon, or there was ineffective assistance of counsel. I mean, I could go on and on, but the point is that many times, no matter how good the motion to reopen is, it just gets thrown out as a perfunctory, non-essential motion that should not be taken seriously. And if that happens, it needs to go up to the Circuit Court of Appeals, because we have cases from the United States Supreme Court basically stating how important motions to reopen are, that they are statutory in basis, that they need to be listened to seriously. So if you have different facts in your particular case that have come about since the order of the deportation and so forth, give me a call. I'll be happy to see what I can do to help you out and what needs to be done to move forward. Okay, if you like the video, click like, subscribe. More on the coming weeks. Thank you.